Hmm. Gamer juice. Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Today we're going to do a coaching session on Legacy of the Void. What changed compared to Wings of Liberty, Heart of the Swarm? Yo, Hoop. It's going to be awesome. There's going to be a lot of whining about shield batteries. Let me check everything. Oh, well, working, kind of. Okay. I think I'm ready. Cat's ready. Oh shit.
Yo.
Hello?
Hello?
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Let me tune you up a little. There we go. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Doing good. How
The
about you?
chic clutch master, dude.
She class master. Yeah, that was pretty hype. Not gonna lie.
I was like, oh shit, this is some shades of Amsal, although he did it like 10 years earlier, but.
Yeah. I mean, you know, it's hard to do something new these days. Yeah.
You've got to be
I,
a,
I
a
also
Neppy kind of person to do that.
yeah. Also, yeah. His comeback was a bit higher stakes.
Slightly.
Like biggest EU tournament ever, winners finals versus like that play weekly 139 loser semis. It's like slight difference, but no.
I hope I didn't insult his legacy by comparing the
No,
two of you.
it's fine. It's fine. Like he actually sent me a high five gif with like welcome to the club. So he's
That's
okay
nice.
with it.
Okay. Whew. So today we're going to talk about Legacy of the Void.
Yeah.
So tell me, what's your experience with Legacy of the Void? You told me you played a
Yes.
couple of games.
Okay, so I'm gonna just go start like a bit back.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm also curious. Did you watch the game that I sent? Because it's
No,
fucking
I did not
hilarious.
have
Okay,
time, but we can watch
that's
it
fair enough.
today
Okay,
if you
yeah,
want.
it's not the most how do you say educational game. I think it's just like it's like how I feel like you're gonna be. Wow, that's a really good 4K game. Like it's a typical 4K StarCraft going on here. But
You're
like
making me
okay,
really
so
curious.
yeah, so my experience related to it. So like I played very actively in Heart of the Swarm. I was
Great
okay.
game.
I was never very good. I think I was always almost masters, and
Mm-hmm.
like back then there was some issue with the way the ladder worked. So like only like 0.5% of people were masters or something, and it was
Yeah,
very hard to get in.
it's pretty hard to get in
And
back
I
then.
remember being very mad about that. And then near like at when did I start playing melee? I think 2014, like start of like April 2014, I started
Wow.
playing melee, and I started playing with like StarCraft less and less.
Mm.
And
Wow.
then there was like the final Heart of the Sword season, Heart of the Storm season, when nobody was playing. I quickly played some ladder games, got masters, and then like never kind of quit. And I played a lot of the Legacy beta. I played like all the different versions of the Broken Adept, and then they nerfed it
Oh.
to the ground like 7 times. It was great to see. And there was also like the original Disruptor, which I really enjoyed, like when it just was a very suicidal unit.
Right, it would
Uh,
pop, right? The moment it
yeah, it,
hit a unit, or not?
yeah, it would basically like right now it shoots like a projectile, but like it used to just like start glowing and become indestructible, and then explode,
Oh,
and
right.
then it would be vulnerable, and it would have like it had like twice the
Right.
radius,
Oh, I
and it was also
remember.
it was so expensive. It was
The Protoss
200.
Banelings.
Yeah, there were product bailings, but there were 200 minerals, 300 gas.
Jesus fuck.
And And like it was so funny to like just be in beta and like play all these other people and like blowing up like I remember blowing up a full supply Protoss army with 2 disruptors, which was very fun. But yeah, so I played a lot of the beta, and then afterwards I just like when the game launched, I played a little bit. I
Hmm.
just struggled because it was like it's so different. Like everything, like I think Protoss changed the most out of the races. Um,
Yeah.
like at first we had like the constant chrono. I think that took a while before we got back to energy chrono. I'm not
Yeah.
entirely I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah. They started
remember.
Legacy with constant chrono, I think, which
Yeah,
was so
that
weird.
was that was very hard to adjust to.
Hmm.
And like there's also like of course like the adapt like I never really understood like how it came in like uh, at some point I was like I'm just gonna build Starkers again because I don't really get these adapts
Yeah.
like sometimes they're very good and then other times they just like don't do anything. So
Yeah.
um and like I can't control disruptors for the life of me, so I gave up that fight as well. And then like I just stopped playing and I started playing every now and then, and every patch is so different. Like I cannot tell you what the Cyclone does right now. Like I feel like every time I log in, it's either the most broken unit or like just a bit of a pea shooter. It's yeah, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's like stuff like that, and like um it's just like the biggest thing, like I said to you, it's like the economy is like a constant thing that I've been struggling with from the start.
Hmm.
Um, like it's been like in it's of course mostly because I was more active in HOTS when I would actually like know like normal times, you know, like I believe the timing was that 17 minutes you want to be maxed and you want to have 3 bases and you want to be getting your fourth. And that was basically like your goal, and that would be like a very good reference point in the game when shit went very bad, like or like it went very crazy, right? And you like hit that 70-minute mark and you see you're at like 150 supply, and you can kind of think like, well, he invested very heavily, so he's probably at something similar. Or like if you're at 200 at like 13 minutes, all of a sudden like you're probably doing something pretty good.
Yeah.
Um,
So you're kind of lacking that game sense right now. You
Yeah,
feel like.
yeah, and I think like that was always my strongest point because I've never been the fastest, like
Hmm.
neither in StarCraft nor in Melee, and like I've always had like that, like the game sense kind of always had to carry me, and I actually think some of the game sense shows in the free play I sent after. Yeah, it's just like the game has a terrible start, and then he decides to not kill me, and I just go for some YOLO stuff, and eventually it gets scrappy, and once it gets scrappy, I feel like I have a shot. So that's kind of what happened that game.
Yeah. So when you finally start playing StarCraft instead of
Yeah,
following
yeah.
build
For
orders.
instance, like yeah, that's definitely also like I also have no idea what build order I'm doing. Like
Hmm.
that's also one of the thing. Like what I loved about Heart of the Swarm is that in every matchup you just go 13 gates, 15 double gas, 17 cyber core, 21 mothership core, and Nexus at the same time, and then you're cool, you're golden. You know, like it worked in every matchup except PvP. PvP slightly different, but PvP is a mess anyway. I loved that matchup back in the day, but now since the disruptors, I'm
uh,
very lost as well.
Mothership Core takes me back.
I loved mothership core, man. It was such a great unit. I have like so many cool things. I think I told you one time that I played Dimmert, which was probably one of my
Hmm.
best wins, and like Shores had just left like the Double Dutch Dragons or something like it was
Hmm.
called, and then joined M. Cool and had played some with him. And he was like, I don't really get why this guy's the GM, dude. All he does is he makes like way too many links early, and he tries to do something, and it never works. I don't get how he wins games, you know. And he said, here's what you do: you just build a wall, and you like you bait him in, and then you after that you you just immortalate him, and you're gonna win every time. So I did that, and I remember like building a wall on top of the ramp, which is like at that point that was kind of off meta already because it's really bad against Muta, which
Yeah.
was which was good back then. So I built a wall on top of my ramp, and I built a wall on the low ground. And like he never scouted the top of my ramp, so he just ran in with the links. And I warped in a zealot behind him, and I warped in a zealot in the on the top, and I overcharged the nexus, and like I lost 0 things, and then afterwards he just and it kind of happened like kind of the same thing happened the second game, except he didn't commit into going into my base, but like I just was able to clear up the links with like a small force at the start, and then still immortal into him again. It's just like
That
insane.
sounds like Heart of the Storm, alright.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, yeah. That's
Yeah.
probably like that, and my 1 game win over Mela in my first tournament game ever were probably my biggest achievements
Mm,
in StarCraft.
nice. Mela is such a beast as well.
Yeah, it was also like pure bullshit game. I
Yeah.
remember that like that was like actually the first tournament game I ever played. It was I had watched. I was a huge fan of Grubby, and I watched like
Mm-hmm.
all a bunch of games, and I saw he lost to Ols, who was playing back then,
Mm-hmm.
uh, on Whirlwind when Ols went Nexus first, and I was like, huh, I can do this. This seems doable. And I was like, because I was thinking, like, this guy is very good. He's probably like, but Whirlwind is a big map, so he's not gonna like scout super early. Probably, he's just gonna check that he's not getting proxied. And I'm just gonna go next first, gonna build a lot of zealots and go for it. And that's what I did. And I like, everything went perfectly. Like I had like 30 extra supply. I was attacking right as he was taking his third, right as he was walking out of his base as well.
Oh, nice.
Actually, actually insane. And I completely killed his army. And like he told me afterwards, he was like, "Wow, this guy is so good. How the fuck does he have so much?" No? And then like I told him I went Nexus first. He was like, "Oh, uh." And then he destroyed me game 2 and game 3.
Did you tell him mid series or?
No, no, we just spoke afterwards. Like he
Okay.
went like full try at game 2 and game 3, and like I never did got anything going. Like it was very
Yeah.
enjoyable.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah. So sorry, I just like to get distracted, but
Yeah,
like
no worries. I love the StarCraft stories. Like those
yeah,
are the stories that excite us to play the game, I feel like.
yeah, for sure. Also, other cool story. Like I was already retired for a long time, and then Uthermal was like I was in chat in Uthermal's chat, and Sam was there as well.
Mm-hmm.
And like Sam was kind of talking trash, and Uthermal was like, "All right, dude, let's do a show match, no? Like, let's do the show match." And
Oh shit.
the show match was we play a PVZ, a TVT, and a CVP. And so Sam was very confident he was gonna win every matchup. And we started with the TVD, and
Did
then
he
we
still
did
play
the
Zerg?
yeah, he played
Yeah.
Zerg, and he was also playing a little bit of Terran, like not too much yet.
I didn't switch yet.
But like honestly, like the TVT was lost. I knew that part, but I felt fairly confident in both the PVC and the CVP. Um, and like I remember asking, because I wanted to win this thing, and I like back then there was this terrible map in the rotation. That had like a ramp that needed like 4 gateways to ramp, and like the Nexus overcharge wouldn't reach your wall.
Sounds like
So
an Antigua shipyard or something.
no. It was in the same thing with
Overgrowth.
Overgrowth, and
Overgrowth was a fucking classic.
yeah, I'll check if I can find it.
Probably
But
like
like
Deadwing or
it was like
something. Oh no.
no, it was
Hmm.
oh man, I don't remember. Uh,
Okay, doesn't
maybe I have it
matter.
bookmarked. I don't have. It really doesn't matter indeed. But like it was like a really bad map for Protoss, and it had been out of the rotation for like 1 season. And I was like, okay, if we go CVP, we play on that map, okay? And Sam was so sure he was gonna win. He was like, okay, sure. And so like we played the TVT, I get absolutely destroyed. I have no idea what I do in TVT, right? So I was kind of trying to copy like a 1-1 build, so I ended up with like 1 Hellion, like 2 Marines, and a meta and a Banshee or something, and then Sam just came in with an actual army and destroyed me. So that didn't go very well. Um, and then like after that, we played on we played on Overgrowth, the PvZ, and I had practiced this build where I did like what seemed like a very greedy tree base, but I never took any guesses except on my main, and I went for +2 charge lots with 13
Plus
gates.
two.
Like
What the?
+2 charge lots with
What?
yeah. So I do a Forge Fast Expand, right? So
Yeah.
I get the Forge first, and
Oh, that was a thing
I,
back then.
yeah,
Oh,
and I get like to +2, and I go only Zealot, and it just like there's like a million Zealots, just like say fuck it, and like 13 gates, 3 base economy, only building Zealots.
wow. Is plus two better than 1-1 in that case?
Uh,
I wonder.
yes, because if they get armor, which they often do, you still like to hit the Zealot,
They
the
did back then?
lings.
Wow.
Yeah, sometimes they did. Like they would just go 1-1. Like what they would
Mm,
generally go Roach Hydra and go +1 attack, +1 armor,
right,
and
right. You
you
go to
really
Viper
wanted
and
to
stuff.
make sure that like if they had some links in there that they got out of there quick, because you want to charge on the roaches.
Yeah. And
Uh,
they didn't do charge damage yet, right?
no, this was
Oh,
yeah,
right.
they didn't do that.
Sick.
Is this it?
No,
Yes,
that was
it's
a legacy
Daedalus
thing.
Point. Daedalus
Data
Point
sp-
was the map. Such a
Oh, I
terrible map.
remember that map.
Okay,
Wow.
so um
That was
so
great.
so
For
I
Zerg.
beat him there, and Sam was very fucking salty already. And now he had to play Protoss versus my Zerg at Daedalus Point. And I had like this build, which was a terrible build, where I would go like really weird attack on 2 bases with like roaches and links. With
Mhm.
speed roaches and links. It was like the weirdest build ever. But it was so good on that map because you can't hold your ramp as Protoss on that map. So you kind of have to make a secondary build, the secondary wall, and Sam did not know how to do it. So I just showed up, I killed his ramp, he overcharged, I just waited out, and I killed him, and like I won that so much.
Got him, dude.
Got him.
Holy shit. I don't know like how good Sam wanted to become, but last time I played him was Thermi Cup 3. And he played Protoss versus me and he just killed me the first game with a cannon rushing gateways in my base, and I was like, fuck. I'm gonna get owned by Sam. Oh no.
Yeah, yeah, it's interesting because like Sam and me started at the same time. We started together, kind of.
Oh, that's always nice.
Like we started at the start of Heart of the Swarm, because I I was kind of done with League at the end of when end of 2012. So pretty much when Heart of the Swarm was about to get announced and stuff, I
Mhm.
was kind of done with League and I wanted to play StarCraft. And we were
Hell yeah.
in a project at school together, and I knew he played StarCraft. And I thought he was very good. Apparently he wasn't yet. But I was like, can we play? Maybe you can teach me a bit. And he was like, yeah, sure, sure, sure. And we played some games. And I remember losing, and I remember thinking like, I can beat this guy if I try, I think. So I got the game, and I led it a bunch, and then I beat him, and then he got very salty, and like he started playing a lot. And then Heart of the Swarm came out, and this is when it all happened. Heart of the Swarm came out, and he did his placement matches, and he got in gold, and I did my placement matches, and I got in platinum.
Oh,
and and Sam could not handle that. So he was like, "I'm not. No, no.
no.
I'm gonna be better than this." So he started grinding, and he got to diamond, and then I got to diamond, and then we like played a lot, and then we joined the Double the Dragons, and from there it like we kept playing.
Uh, yeah, I think a lot of people have this story. Like I picked up Wings of Liberty with a friend of mine in high school,
Yeah,
and we just kind of started one-upping each other
yeah,
until
for
one of
sure.
us couldn't
Yeah,
anymore. And then all my friends stopped playing. I was okay. Now I'm alone. But
yeah,
then
but you're
then you
too
found the
addictive.
scene, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. If you, yeah, for sure. That's a great thing about the scene. But like I don't think I ever really like joined the scene. I feel in StarCraft the way I was able to join the melee scene. I don't
It's
really know
different.
why that happened.
Yeah.
Like I really hated like the LAN environments. Like
Mm.
the I've like at FOM and the party and all those places. Like I hated being there. This is like I was happy to play StarCraft, but I did not enjoy
Yeah, I don't know.
like sleeping
I was a
there
warrior back then, so I
and
didn't
like
care. I was there to play the tournament, dude.
Yeah, same. Like I enjoyed the tournament very much, and I enjoyed like talking with other people in the tournament. But like the amount of like weird people shouting like
What
bad
the?
stuff and like watching porn like behind you was like it was too much for me.
Yeah, that's
Like
yeah,
I did not enjoy there being there.
yeah.
Like I remember distinctly there was this one guy that was at every one of those things and was just like having a 72-hour marathon of watching porn on his thing, and he was always seated like somewhat close to us for some reason.
No,
Like why, dude? What's wrong with you? Like I don't
no.
get it.
I,
It was a weird place. Let's just say that. And like I enjoyed the the smelly Smash tournaments more, you know, because everybody
yeah,
was there to play Smash at least. Like that was a big thing.
yeah. I really enjoy. I went to all the Avalons, or at least a bunch
Yeah,
of them, and
yeah,
I was so trash, but it was very fun. Just
yeah,
just to hang
yeah,
out at the friendly
yeah.
setup and just
Yeah,
get
it's great.
destroyed by like
I
Lars
love.
and that kind of people.
Yeah, I definitely also of course because it is more social, it pulls you in quicker. That's for sure. Like I think I
Yeah,
did get to that point with StarCraft as well, where I went to those lands and I met those people, but
yeah,
like everybody is used to playing online in StarCraft, you know, like
yeah.
and Smash people, especially back then, were like, oh, there's a new player. All right, man, come on, I'll show you some cool stuff about this game. Like,
StarCraft is a little different. In StarCraft, it's kind of like, okay, first show me you're kind of serious about the game, otherwise I
yeah,
don't
yeah,
care.
exactly. Like, you
Yeah,
know, you got to get somewhere first, and then we'll talk. You know.
yeah, it's really different. Like I think last that StarCraft League, I was like a bunch of the qualifiers, people, new people showed up, which was really nice. There was this one guy who was like hell bent on proving me that two base ZVZ was a meme and that I shouldn't do it. But I beat his ass so hard, I was like, well,
Yeah.
just
That's.
show me it's different then. And so now I have a fun back and forth with that guy. And it's the small things that kind of like
Yeah, yeah,
grow the bond.
yeah. I also like you also like I feel like have like a clear like you are at that point where you're kind of like known and you were. I think you're kind of known for having those kind of weird builds as well, like the proxy hatches. I think is kind of your
Yeah,
thing and stuff.
that's so
So
dumb
like
because I didn't want that, but
yeah, but I feel
it
that
just
you kind of
happened.
have that reputation. I'm not entirely sure. I don't
I
follow it as
definitely have it
closely
now,
anymore.
and I embrace
Yeah.
it fully. But
Okay. Yeah.
I used to be like only macro, you know, like Heart of the Swarm 2015. I got Grandmaster only macro, only macro,
Wow.
and then
That's
Legacy came out, and oh my god, I hated the game. I was like, I only get 3 larvae.
yeah.
I like early pools were kind of weh. I have to take a third base always because I really like the 2 base setup that you got in Heart of the Swarm
Yeah.
always.
Same.
That just felt very comfortable and solid. And now I had to take a third base because I didn't have enough larva. Like, and they had auto injects for a while, which were shit.
Oh yeah,
Like that
yeah. I
was so
remember that.
stupid. Like it just felt like I wasn't even playing the game. It was Nexus Wars, dude. It wasn't
Yeah.
fun, which
Yeah.
which is very weird to say because it made life a lot easier. But it just, yeah,
Yeah.
I really considered like, do I want to play StarCraft here? I stopped playing StarCraft for a bit there as well. I just played Melee, as everybody should, and eventually I kind of got dragged back into it because of Genix. Like, he was like, yeah,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
come back to a tournament, dude, and just come have some fun, right? I was like, sure, like it was some kind of Red Bull Masters qualifier or whatever, and I just kind of showed up, and I hadn't played for 2 years. I was like, well, I don't I don't really know what to do, but I knew I was gonna go like the day before, so I just kind of looked up some cheese or something else, and I kind of like during the tournament developed like some proxy hatches and stuff, and I somehow ended up getting fourth, and I was like, wow, I just made $60. That's nice. It
Yeah.
was super stupid. Um, but I couldn't for the life of me macro in Legacy of the Void, which is why I thought it was really interesting that you kind of arcing back to your to the session,
Yeah.
like you were like, I don't know how Legacy of the Void works. It feels weird,
Yeah,
and I
for
really
sure.
identify with that feeling. I literally just said, okay, now I'm a cheeser because at least that makes sense to me. I know how the cheeses work
Yeah.
in this game because I keep dying to them when I try to macro. So I just went 180 and I started doing my own thing, which because I have good fundamentals in StarCraft at least, it gets me like at least somewhere, right? It definitely
Yeah.
bottlenecks me in other places, but that will always happen when you try to be too stylistic, I feel like.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
so I wrote down that the three things that really came forth from your explanation was that like adepts are just a question mark unit to you, which I understand. Like they're kind of
Yeah.
a they're kind of a reaper unit where they're good at the right time of the game, and after that they're just always shit.
Yeah, I feel like maybe it's not so much the adept. It's more like the kind of like I don't really know what the army comps should be like. You know, like it used to be very clear. Like you
Mm-hmm.
don't want too many stalkers. You want like charge slots. You want Templar. You want maybe Colossi.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't. Sometimes you do. And like that was kind of like what you did. And like
Mm. Yeah.
I feel like it's kind of more complicated now because sometimes the adept is used like
Yeah.
especially for Zerg. I see like
Yeah. Glaive adepters are good.
yeah, but I see them like also like like for a while I think like it was either you're cheesing with adepts or you're like or you're going or you are going for like the Stalker Zealot high tech unit composition.
Mm-hmm.
And then like for a while or like when I watched like a bit later they were actually like keeping them in the army for the later game as well. And
Mm-hmm.
and like I think for a time it was actually like they went like Zealot to that, which I did not understand at all. But I think that's a long time ago.
Yeah. Well, the adept and the zealot and the stalker are kind of fighting for identity. Like adept is right in between those two identities. Um,
Yeah, yeah,
and well, zealots were really out of fashion at the start of Legacy, actually, because they just didn't do the damage that adepts did, and they kind
yeah,
of have the same health, and
yeah,
so it didn't really make a lot of sense to make zealots over adepts back then because adepts were a little bit overtuned. We now know because they two-shot SCVs, I think,
I
which
think
was
they still do, right? I think they
uh, I
still do.
I don't know, or they two-shot Marines. Like one of those units, they kind of adjusted that now you need +1 attack
Yeah,
to
but
do
I
that,
think a big thing they changed
and the shade
uh,
vision.
was that they did like started doing more bonus damage versus light, so they weren't like as universally good like
Yeah,
against stuff
yeah,
like
yeah,
august. I
yeah,
think that was the
yeah.
big change.
Oh, I don't know for sure, but
Yeah,
if
me
that's
neither.
true,
But
then
like
you're totally right.
I
That
do
would.
remember like at the start like adepts
Mhm.
being like clearly better choice than
Yeah.
zealots, and then it kind of and then I remember they added like the instant charge damage on zealots,
Mhm.
and I think they
Yeah.
removed that again now, right? Like
No, it's just halved. They never removed it. It used to be
really
10,
because
I think. Now it's
I
5,
remember
I think. Maybe
I
I'm wrong.
remember okay I remember it started at 30. I remember it started
30.
at 30, and they were like, "Wow, this is a bit too much," because they said they had a bug that they didn't apply every time for when they were testing, and then like they fixed that bug, and they just went ahead and pushed like the 30 change anyway,
Right.
um, and and it was a bit too much, so they changed it to 12. I remember that very distinctly, but I think they recently removed it. I'm not sure.
Charge temporarily increases the movement speed to 9.1. That's a lot.
Yeah, so that was
Allowing zealots to intercept nearby enemies, dealing 8 damage to the
okay.
charge temp.
It's
So
still
it's
good.
8.
Okay. Yeah.
I
So
think
it's
they
now it's
also changed that they will always guaranteed get an attack off on the unit they
okay. Okay.
charged, which um, which makes them very good at bursting and very reliable.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
one of the things that used to happen is they would charge and then they would start an attack animation and the
Yeah.
roast would move
I
back and they
remember
would be
that.
like, ah! And they
Yeah.
would.
Yeah. Especially against Terran, it was like the most like frustrating shit ever.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because they would also always be kiting and then the zealot charges up and then just does nothing. And then,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, so yeah, let me get back to so the adepts. I think the thing that I want to say about the adepts is that adepts are good units. They're kind of Reaper-ish, where you make them in smaller amounts early to like shade forward and scout, especially for Zerg. Also in PvP, I don't know if you've played a PvP, but if you don't have a wall on your ramp and a probe ready to make a battery to block them, then you're gonna get adepts in your base and you just die.
Yeah, I have had adepts in my base, but I've never found them fairly effective. I don't know. I like I kind of
Well,
refuse to wall in that matchup. Like people have been telling me you should wall because of the depths, and I'm like, nah,
yeah,
I don't know.
you
I
you'll
just
find
always have
out.
like 4 stalkers when they shade in, and I just kill them
Yeah,
and then
because
move out.
usually they'll have two adepts, and if they see you have a lot of stalkers, they just won't blink in. But if they blink in and you're not there, then they'll just sync up the shots, and the shield battery won't do anything, and then like you're just losing probes. And since PvP is a little bit less probe heavy, the damage is just uh, usually insurmountable.
Yeah, I do feel like recently PvP has been very macro oriented though. Like I think
Yeah,
it's always been like at least 2 or 3 base, like
yeah.
all the ones I've played. But I don't
But
know.
adepts are very like early
Yeah, I
mid
understand what
game
you're saying.
timing
Yeah,
oriented. Like you have
yeah.
adept drops are good. You use adepts to like yeah, scout out the opponent's army, and you do a lot of timings with them, like especially with what is it, like glaives,
Yeah, glaives.
like versus Zerg. I have a lot of experience in dying to it, where you just it's like a lot of 4 gate or sometimes it's 6 gate, and you just make a couple rounds of adepts just to like do damage, and otherwise, well, you have some adepts in your army. They're not amazing, but if you just lose them before you get to 200, it's kind of fine.
Yeah,
Because the unit is still solid. Like it has a lot of shields, which is nowadays even better. Um, which is gonna be funny. We'll jump. I'll add it, the batteries as well,
yeah.
to the list. So I think that's adepts. I would say that adepts are always good early. You can make them early out of your gateways. I would experiment with that. Um, Not so much for Terran. I think for Terran, I personally like stalkers a lot more, but in PvP you should experiment with it, and versus Zerg you should definitely try them.
Okay, I
And
feel like
then I would
versus
say they're not late game units.
yeah,
Just don't bother late game.
like versus Terran, I like that they're 25 gas and they're pretty good against the Reaper, so I like to make 2 at the start because like you already wrote down build orders. Like what I do against Terran is I get like a 1 gate and then I expand before the Cybercore. And like that way you don't have a lot of gas and you have like exactly enough to start warp gate and then adapt at the same time. And like the adapt will be in time to catch the Reaper. So that's
Yeah,
generally
that's nice. Like adepts are a little bit more micro heavy, I would say, because of the shade, which is
yeah, I
getting
suck
used
at
to.
the shade still. Like I can't do it. I don't know. I just hope that they're bad at macroing against it and they're like, alright, this guy probably knows what he's doing. Let's not try.
Yeah,
Like
so
I remember like watching New Thermal like out micro that shade for like years. Like
yeah, it's hard being a Protoss player. But yeah, is there any like uncertainty or questions you have about the adept? Otherwise, I kind of want to move on to the economy because I
yeah,
think
let's
that's
move
where
on. Like
the
I
meat
don't
is.
think it's like too big of a question mark.
Okay, because adepts are cool units, but they're kind of like they do the same thing as other units. So it's more of a preference, which I think is nice. And regarding unit compositions, I think StarCraft is in a very nice place right now where most army compositions can be viable. So I wouldn't worry about having adepts in your army composition. If you want to, you can kind of shape your army around having them in your composition.
Okay.
Especially, yeah, I think in most matchups you can make them work. Sometimes you kind of have to do an all-in though, but like versus Zerg, I would say if you have like 20 adepts, you're probably immortal all-inning them.
That sounds good. That's all I do anyway.
Still strong. Okay, so the economy. Let's think about
Yeah.
what changed for Protoss specifically. You had the Chrono Boost, which is now back. Thank God.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think
I'm
I
very
think
happy
Chrono
it's
Boosting
back.
something feels so good. It feels stupid to say, but now that I know that like the channeled Chrono Boost could exist, and it's just really
Oh, it
annoying.
was
It just
so
feels
bad.
bad.
It was so bad. Also, it was like such a huge nerf. It went from like if you were good at it, you would get like a 40% boost if you like constantly did it,
Yeah.
to like a 15% boost. It's like it felt so bad.
Yeah, it feels bad, and like I don't know, it just not a lot of decision making there.
Yeah, for
I
sure
think
you do.
it's really cool when like you see a Protoss like um he's about to hold an attack and he's like scared and suddenly you see like all the chrono boost going off on the gateways and stuff and I'm like you see
Yeah.
him reacting physically or well visually at least. I just think that's cool.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I think Chrono Boost is a very cool mechanic, and
Yeah.
but I think I was pretty good at it when like I played Heart of the Swarm.
Hmm.
Like I think a lot of, if I looked at my replays, I would like often have like a slight advantage because of my Chrono Boost usage. I would have like 1 or 2 probes more, or like
Yeah.
have that upgrade a bit quicker. Like I was pretty decent, I think.
Okay, so let's okay, I'm gonna close my door 1 second.
Yeah.
So, because my roommates are loud and they distract me mostly. Um, so all the changes. So we had Chrono Boost, and we have 12 probes. I think we start with.
Yeah, 12 probes.
So you already start off with like having to immediately build a pylon, which is kind of. I felt
Yeah,
like that was counterintuitive, but
you build it at 13. It's kind of like,
really, oh,
yeah,
I'm
because
so
you
bad.
go,
I just built it at
yeah,
14, dude.
uh,
What an
yeah,
off
oh yeah,
race.
14, yeah. But it's like
Yeah,
not immediately. Like you build like 2 probes first.
yeah, it kind of lines up kind of okay.
Yeah, but if you are against Zerg, you pretty much need to ready your first probe to the low ground if you want to stand
Yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah. Some people do it even earlier to block my hatchery, which is annoyingly meta right now.
Oh yeah, I just mean like my own, like to wall my own base. If
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
like if I want to time the first pylon, it needs to
Hmm.
be the first ready probe.
Yeah. So what what feels different to you? How did you experience the change
So
going
like I
from?
said, like the big thing is I have no intuitive feeling of like when I should expand. And like it kind of comes back to the mineral change as well.
Hmm.
Like we kind of glossed over that. Like you said, it used to be like very fine to be on 2 base for a long time because like the minerals were there for a long time.
Yeah.
And I feel like right now, of course, only half the mineral patches survive for a long time, and so you're kind of incentivized to expand earlier, which I think is very good for like the pro level, but not very good for me because I really like don't have any idea what's normal because um well you're both probably gonna expand earlier because of the change because well you're just kind of, but like I said, I used to aim for like, I think I had like timings in my head like at like 14 15 minutes or something. Start my third, always, and
Hmm.
like I would have a force to defend it, and I would be ready to defend it. I'd be ready. Well, I wouldn't be ready for for drops against Terran, but I would feel like I'm ready, and then
Hmm.
um and like I would feel confident, and I would have a feeling of, yes, I'm on track with my expansion, or I'm a little behind on my expansions, and I maybe should like look to be a bit aggressive, or like like I would have that feel kind of, and that feel is completely gone. I'm always like kind of, do I build my Nexus now? I have 400 minerals. I guess I'll build it, and then like I die or I don't, and I'm like, all right, yeah, it's
Yeah.
yeah,
So you mentioned the mineral change, which definitely pushes you to expand. Because if you now do a 2 base build like we used to do back in the day, then after you kind of conclude that 2 base build, like either you killed your opponent or you did some damage, that's when your minerals start like
yeah,
disappearing. And you're like, oh
yeah,
fuck. So almost every 2 base build nowadays, when you like move out or you kind of like have your gotcha moment, you start taking a 3rd base.
yeah,
Even if you don't really want to use it, like that's super all in, but even if you don't really want to use it, you just kind of plop it down. Because if you don't kill him, so if it's like committed
you
pressure,
did,
but it's not all in, then, well, you kind of need a 3rd base, and you
yeah,
already have the probes to transfer, so it's even better to just expand because you have 8 probes that are not doing anything in the main. So you're
yeah,
already kind of rewarded for expanding there. In the end, it's only 400 minerals. Um, and I think the biggest thing for me what I learned is that you look at the probes that you have, the amount of probes. Um, because when you're about to like saturate your natural, that's when you can already kind of start thinking about a third.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, because the old two base is now kind of the three base, which feels stupid to say, but we used to go up to like a fast second base, like that was Wings of Liberty, Heart of the Swarm. Like, oh, we get fast two base, and then we kind of like we tech, we get our upgrades, and then we get a third base. But nowadays it's like, well, we just get up our tech tree like 2-3 units, or maybe 6 units, like a medevac drop, or like a couple of debs, like maybe some Phoenix, or nowadays it's Void Rays, and we take a third. Like it's 4 minutes, I think, for Protoss usually, like 4:30 maybe. It's like pretty fast. Like versus Zerg,
4:30?
yeah, versus Zerg, it's one Void Ray and like two Adepts, or like one Oracle, two Adepts, and you plop down the Nexus.
Insane to
It's
me.
just it's just very early because your main mine's out very early as
Like
well.
I feel like at 4:30 my natural hasn't finished, you know? Like I don't know.
It definitely has, and it probably already has 16 probes. But
Yeah, of
that's kind
course
of
there's
the
also the timing change, right? So it
yeah
would be like if
yeah.
I
So
convert it to like back in the day, it would be like
yeah,
6 minutes or
I
something.
don't look at the timer. I never did, and I'm glad I didn't because they keep changing it, or they kept changing it back in the day at least, and it just confused the hell out of me. So I just have a lot of timings. Like I start this, and when this finishes, I start the next thing.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
think the biggest thing to like look at your game sense is to look at how many probes you have on minerals and how many do you have on gas. Because I think it's for Protoss it's a little different. Um, but for Zerg, for example, I literally don't take more gases until I have three bases saturated on minerals. And I think for Protoss it's kind of probably the same. Where first you saturate two bases, minerals, and you probably have two gases because it's Protoss. And then you kind of have the decision there, I feel like. Either make two more gases to tech, you can make a bunch of gateways to all in, or you make a nexus to expand, and then you can do the other things after. You kind of you're gonna do either of those things, either more gas, uh, more gateways, or a nexus in any order that you prefer.
Okay.
As soon as like your natural is kind of saturated. I think that's kind of how it goes. But I don't play a lot of Protoss, so you kind of have
Yeah.
to play
Yeah,
around with that.
it definitely that once again like goes against my intuition because like you used to like you would start adding your gas on your second base once you hit like 8 probes on minerals.
Yeah.
Like you would get more gases and like because you needed so much gas to get like the Colossus, the range, the upgrade,
Sentries.
the
Yeah.
blink. Yeah,
Yeah.
well I always skip the sentries because I'm mostly talking about
Well, you
Terran
were
damage
ahead of
basically.
the curve.
Like it's kind of crazy because like against Zerg I would always immortal in, so I would obviously have sentries, so you needed
Yeah.
gas for those. But for Sterren I would almost never build sentries. I would sometimes build one for hallucination scout, but yeah.
Guardian Shield, dude. It's good. Trust me, it's good.
Yeah, I have the one, man. All
It
you
is
need
just
is the
one.
one.
Just a value sentry.
Yeah.
Um. Okay, so did anything else change about the economy? I'm thinking.
Let me think. Yeah, no, I think like most of the thing kind of come forth from that like not having an idea of like the timing. So
Mhm.
because I don't really like understand the expansion timings, like I when I used to scout like a Zerg third at like 6 minutes, I know he had like a very safe build and there might be some pressure coming, you know.
Mhm.
But not necessarily. And now I see a third. I think, ah, that's a third base. Cool. And I'm like, I'm not sure what I should do with this information.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
So yeah, the
And I
easy
think
answer is
it
that
kind
comes
of,
with experience.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's completely like it makes sense. I don't play as much, you know, and like I just should like watch the replay and like
Mhm.
kind of understand the builds better. But
Yeah.
like I do think like the economy is like as clear as we're gonna get it for now. And I think like knowing that say like first saturate the minerals and then like once you're like about to have two bases and two gases of economy just take
Mhm.
the third,
Yeah.
like I'm just gonna try that and
Yeah.
see how that goes, I think.
So I think one thing that's still true is that your expansion count kind of needs to be similar to your opponent, right? So if a
Yeah, of
Terran takes
course.
a third, you probably should have a third. If you don't,
Yeah,
then
yeah,
maybe
yeah. That
you,
makes a
yeah.
lot of sense still. But like against Zerg, it was always kind of different
Hmm.
because they were always kind of a base ahead anyway, and
Yeah.
like yeah, and and like against Zerg, I think it was the most important to really get that information about what they were doing in the early game because um, you needed to kind of match their greed and
Yeah.
like you needed to see how greedy they were being and like how
Hmm.
quickly you needed to
Yeah.
grow and I just have like less of a grasp on how greedy he's being when I see it like because you could tell a lot from scouting the third back in the day, you
Yeah.
know, like
Well, you still can. Nowadays, we do it with oracles usually. Your oracle just kind of flies straight to the third, and because you do that every game, and you just count the amount of drones you see, and then you kind of
okay,
start building that intuition. Or you can also fly to the main if you want to do damage. But basically, if you check the Zerg at every time, the same time ish, you're gonna build that sense really fast.
okay, but I
Um,
thought we were going void race now, but
yeah. Void Rays are also good, but it's usually like Void Ray into Oracle, or it's Void Ray, Void Ray, Void Ray, Void
yeah,
Ray.
okay, yeah.
But then you don't really care about what I'm doing. You're just making Void Rays.
Yeah, honestly, like I've had the most success in StarCraft when the Void Race was a good unit, so it seemed like a good time to jump back in. So
It's a wonderful unit. Mm. Okay. Do you want to go any further into the economy, or do you want to look at the
let's go
batteries?
on the onto the
Okay.
batteries.
Do you have the game loaded up?
Yeah, I'm in then.
Okay, we're gonna.
Do I not have you as? Yeah, I do.
Uh,
I have you.
I don't know. You can always join the chat channel right quiz. Then. Oh, there you
I
are.
I have you.
There you are. I'm gonna invite you to party, and then we're gonna go to the unit test map. Let's see if this works. I don't know if this is the right one, but we're gonna check. Because I think a big thing of understanding the batteries is first how Protoss units are built with their health and shields. So
Don't let 'em see you coming.
we can build all the Protoss units and start. Oh shit! That's the wrong one. I can't see that one because I'm apparently I'm this one. Okay, start. Oh, can you control the other one or?
oh yeah.
Can you just not kill my dudes?
Yeah, that's great. I don't know. It was just like I started shooting automatically.
I'm used to like seeing all of them. Okay, let's reset and just.
You can click vision.
How can I? I haven't done that in a while, dude.
I don't know.
Vision?
I don't, like,
No.
no, I don't say show, man.
That's okay.
I'm not sure, man.
I wanna delete all of your units, but I forgot how this works.
Let me just kill them.
Options.
By the way, I can't see your unit when there's.
Oh, we can just A move. And I guess we get a.
Not enough energy.
Great.
Like I'm losing this battle, but I already killed some units and stuff. Whoa, there's time warp. Time warp's back.
Time warp's back, baby, and I think it also works on air units. I've never used this with two people, so sorry about that.
That's okay.
Okay. Okay, we could,
Just
this
give
should
me
be
an
fine.
ops if you like reset stuff. I don't know, cause I can't see under your mothership.
Yeah, right. Okay. Oh, this worked. How can I give you? No. Okay.
Can't you just clear? Clear?
How do I clear? Clear?
Left.
Okay, there we go. Okay, let's just not do the mothership.
Okay. Yeah, it's also not the most relevant unit.
No, we'll just do it separately. Start. You can see this, right?
Yeah.
So let's put on the right all the units that have more shields than armor.
I like. Let's see if I can. I know it's for sure the Archon.
Yeah.
I think that that also has more shields and armor.
Adepts has equal shields and armor.
Oh yeah, okay. I believe the carrier has more shields than armor.
Nope. It has double armor.
I'm just clicking them now.
I'll just
Warp
tell
Prism.
you right away, all the air units have more armor than shields.
No man, Warp Prism, man.
Warp Prism. Oh, that's a robo unit though. That's cheating.
It's an air unit, man. So it's only the Archon. Only the Archon.
It's Archon, and it's
and-
Warp Prism,
Maybe the Ops and DTs, but I can't click those. So.
DT. Oh, right, you can't. Oh, I should have given you an observer.
Yeah.
Okay, wait, we can go back and I give you an observer.
Just give me all the observers. Yeah, perfect.
There you go.
Alright.
Okay.
Maybe you should like remove your own observer. Can you kill your own observers so you don't auto attack? Like
Right. I don't have an observer anymore. Okay, so all the air units have more armor than, except for, and Warp Prism, I guess. They have more armor than they have shields. Colossus also has more armor than shields. Immortal has more armor than shields. The units in the middle have equal. Zealot has less, obviously. And DT has more. So I think that's first a good thing to note, that like most of the units you're gonna use, like stalkers, maybe sentries, they just have a lot of shields. And even the ones.
Yeah, so like I feel like stalkers used to have more armor than shield, but I could be completely wrong.
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know.
I feel like
Yeah.
I might be completely wrong.
And so,
Okay.
oh, this works nice. So the interesting thing is that the battery makes it so that you need to know the magic number for a lot of units. So I don't know the magic number for a stalker right now, but I think it's 5. That you need 5 stalkers to one shot, or it's 6. Okay, you need at least 5 shots to do damage. So it's probably like 8 or something to one shot, or 9. This is 10. So then the shield battery suddenly doesn't do anything. But if it's like, I don't know, 8? Let's try. Suddenly it lived. And if it's like 6 or 5, then they can stand there all day, but like they can barely kill it, but it lives so long. And then I think if you overcharge this thing, they can try for days, but you need to get through the shields, otherwise it's just not gonna do anything forever and ever and ever. But as soon as you have like a couple more, the cooldown is down. But so that's kind of the trick with shield batteries. You need to start doing more damage in one burst than the 80 shields that the unit has. Because if I just burst them down, you see that it also takes some HP damage. And that's why batteries are really good in small numbers. Because just this really, it doesn't do anything. Like this left stalker's always gonna win. That makes intuitive sense, I think. And that's why with like slightly bigger numbers, you start targeting the shield batteries. Because then you kill the remaining health pool of the stalker, basically. But that's kind of, it's a difficult trade-off, because if your army is big enough again, then the shield batteries don't really do anything. So it's kind of like, it's a weird dance in that way, which I'm trying to understand myself. So I think the big thing is basically, when can I engage units that are near shield batteries? And when do I target the units themselves? And when do I target the shield batteries? Because if you see this one immortal, and you have 8 stalkers, what do? Well, you probably run away, because it doesn't feel like you're gonna win, right? But it's one immortal. Like, I don't know.
Like even without shield batteries, that's like a like it's not even that good of a trade if you.
So I don't know if they win, but no. They kind of win, but it takes a long time. So if you super batteries, you probably can't do anything, right? Oh, okay, it died. Lol. It died. But
Yeah,
this is kind of
I don't-
important to...
Like, I think,
It's all about magic numbers is what I'm trying to get at.
yeah,
Right.
I understand what you're saying. Yeah, for sure.
They become... It's kind of like mutas as well. Like you need, what is it, 5 mutas to kill a probe, for example.
I mean, you probably know better than me.
Yeah, it's
I don't
5,
really
it's
know.
5. I definitely
Okay.
know, but... it just... it kind of feels weird to say the thing with certainty, I don't know why. I'm so insecure. But batteries are really good at those situations where you don't have enough units to kill the unit at once, because suddenly they don't do anything. And if the stalkers like kind of start shooting at their own pace, then suddenly like the battery's even better. Oh, batteries are out of juice. Lol. So like if you don't have any synced shots, then the batteries become even better. Which is why in A-move fights, they seem so good. Because this is what, 5 stalkers, I think? And if you just sync them up, then... Oh, what? Okay, they stopped attacking.
I think I had a bit of lag. Yeah, okay. It makes sense.
So maybe... Let's look at when are you encountering shield batteries and when are you building them yourself?
So, like, I mostly PvP. Is like the big thing. Like, obviously, I'm only encountering them in PvP, but
Oh right,
so,
yeah, but you're making them yourself. But okay, let's talk about PvP first.
yeah. So that's like what I like. So I'm in Heart of the Swarm. I used to be a huge fan of like the 3 Stalker rush, and then tech after that. Was definitely my go-to build. And I feel like in Legacy Void, there's kind of something similar where you just go like the double gates and you start with 4 stalkers. Like I say, I often have 4 stalkers, and you start to pressure. And like what would happen sometimes is they would just like rush the shield battery and expand like very early with only like 2 stalkers, or maybe
Yeah.
even 1 stalker sometimes, and like I could not get through.
No.
And then I tried to do the same thing against somebody who did this to me,
Yeah.
and I just like died. So I didn't really get it.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that a lot. Like I think 3-gate stalker pressure in PvP is a thing where you just kind of you poke in to see if they have batteries and stuff, and if they do have a substantial amount, you just kind of go back and you make some more stalkers until you can start 1 or 2 shotting stalkers. I think
it makes sense.
it's
with
all about the
magic
one-shotting.
you talked about. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense because like I never really thought about it that way, and I think it makes sense. And I do think it's actually like you do need the full 10 stalkers, and
Yeah.
it
So
does make sense if you go like the build like is like 4 stalkers at the start, and you add like the 2nd gate. So I do think you can get up to that 10, to that juicy like 10
yeah, so like
quickly.
I think 10 stalkers, do they one shot? Yeah, basically one shot.
Maybe 9, but like I think it's 10.
Oh. Yeah, so 9 makes it harder, so it's 10. But this is like an important number, right? Because I think stalkers have the most HP. No, they probably don't. Zealots have more, yeah.
Yes.
But the depths have less, so you don't have to care about the depths.
Yeah,
so
but the stalkers do less damage versus adepts. So
Oh,
I
really?
think they also survive. Yeah, because adepts are light.
Yeah, you're right.
But like adepts do literally 0 damage against stalkers. So
Yeah,
like not...
so you don't really care. So the most useful information is to know how many stalkers do I need to kill another stalker.
So 10 makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and if there's 1 stalker and you have like 4 stalkers, I don't know if you can probably kill it, or you could just kill 1 pylon in this situation, right? You just kill... I don't know. I don't play PvP, but that's kind of a...
I don't know. I feel like if you go for the pylon, they can like shield battery the pylon like halfway.
Yeah, they can, which
like...
is at least they have to micro. But I think it's always a consideration, right? Like, okay, there's batteries. Do I kill the batteries or do I kill the units?
Yeah.
I think especially with Disruptor, like you can kind of... I don't know how many it takes, but it's probably 2. That's kind of nice. Like you can kill them before the battle really starts.
Yeah.
And of course...
I'm probably not building disruptors to be honest. Like I can't control the shots. I always end up blowing out an army, so I don't know. I gave up.
Yeah, but I think that's yeah. Shield batteries is about magic numbers and
Yeah.
about
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Like
making a decision that game and then checking afterwards, basically. Like, huh, should I have killed the units here or the stalkers, or does the math just not favor me at all? That also happens.
Yeah, for sure.
It's kind of like an oracle in a mineral line. It's like, well, there's a battery, so I'm not going to kill anything until the battery is dry. And I don't know if you then should keep attacking probes or that you should target the battery. I don't know. But that's something you'll have to like figure out.
Yeah, and like another place where I use the batteries is in PvZ. I like to when you get to the point where you start adding cannons to bases. I
Yeah.
like to like always do 3 cannons, 1 battery, and do it from there.
Yeah, I think batteries are really sick because they still force you to have units, but they give you a better defensive position, which helps Protoss a lot, right? Because they
Yeah, it makes sense, right? Like it's
But, like-
definitely like the gap.
yeah, it's less lame in my opinion than the overcharge. Although I still get frustrated to all hell by this nuclear battery, which I think is stupid. But because every time I see that, I'm like, well, unless I can corrosive bile it down, I'm just not gonna be there because it's too good. It's so good.
Yeah, so
Right.
like would you say you should build a battery in like your wall against Zerg?
Yeah, basically, as soon as you think is something wrong, you can just build a battery because they're like, I think 100 minerals.
I don't know.
So, like, batteries don't have a lot of HP or shields. Like, they have less HP and shields than a pylon.
Yeah.
So, they're not like gonna tank any damage for you, really. Like, banelings just laugh at them.
Yeah,
But-
there shouldn't be like part of your wall, but like,
No,
I mean,
but
I mean,
definitely behind the wall, they can definitely like, especially with Zerglings, it's so funny when like 8 Zerglings attack like an adept and the adept has a shield battery and it just the Zerglings just give up. They're like, okay, this adept is not gonna die. And they just walk away like a full surround, and they'll still often survive. The adepts will.
Let your will be heard.
That's what I usually encounter, for example.
Forward.
So I think just sprinkling batteries in your builds when you think something is off is really good because they're cheap and they do their work automatically, so you don't have to like target them, which is nice. And they're a bit less committal than cannons, obviously, because you don't always have a forge.
Yeah, it's weird. I still like cannons more, like especially against Zerg and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. Obviously the building is good. I just like I said, I just struggle with understanding, and like you say, it's good against Zerglings, but then like they show up with like 3 Ravagers and they bile it down, and I'm like, well,
Yeah.
that was a waste.
Yeah, versus Zerg, you should kind of spread them out, I guess, if there's Ravagers, but usually the thing you try to do is be between your batteries and the Zerg army, because batteries obviously don't have a lot of health, and if the Ravagers have to go through your army to bile them down, then the Ravagers often die because they kind of like derp out trying to throw the bile, but they get stuck behind roaches or stuck behind your zealots, and then they're not attacking.
Yeah, so maybe if you like know there's like a Ravager push, you like build them a bit further back, so you just let them kill your wall, and like you fight once your wall goes down. But maybe.
Yeah, basically, yeah. It's very hard to keep your wall against Ravagers because, well, you're in a choke point yourself at that point. So you should just kill all the free links that they throw at you, and probably expect that your wall is going to get biled down eventually. So rebuild those structures if you need them, and then you can fight after the wall has died. If you try to get out of your wall to protect like those buildings, you're probably going to die because then your units are going to clump up. All the Ravagers are going to shoot at like the front 2 units, so they're going to immediately die. And if you like are halfway out of your wall with like half your army, like suddenly all the links swarm in and you're like just kind of dead.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. But like it's so counterintuitive for me still to say you know, maybe just let your bull die. Like it's
Yeah, the
it's not
Ravager kind of changes that whole dynamic. Yeah.
no, it's yeah. It makes sense if you think about it, but it's so different from what it used to be. You know?
Yeah,
Like
I think,
keeping your wall was like more important than anything else, really.
yeah. So what I wanted to illustrate with showing you all the units that actually have equal shields to health. Um, Together with having a lot of shield batteries in the game, shields became more important. Like, you're just gonna have more shields over the course of the game because of shield batteries.
No,
So,
yeah,
when you're doing upgrades in your game, instead of like +3 armor, for example, you can do +1 shields. It's cheaper, it's
really.
faster, and it's gonna do the same, maybe even more, because a lot of your units are gonna have more shields than they are gonna have armor. So it's even like the thing that is now true that used to not be so true is that shields are now better defensively, and armor is for like attacking basically. Because armor you use it once, because Protoss units can't heal,
Yeah,
and shields you can use them over and over and over again. So over time, shield upgrade is going to net you more value or more reduced damage, but armor is going to reduce damage a little bit more when it matters in the final fight, basically, away from your batteries. So
yeah,
I think it's always fun to think about. It used to not really be a choice because armor was just better. Because most unit, as you can see,
yeah.
the most
It was
important units had either
yeah,
equal health or more health than shields, and
yeah.
shields is even more expensive. So
Yeah, the big reason why it was bad is because like your meaty unit was the Zealot,
Mhm.
still kind of is of course, and
It
like
still
the
is,
Zealot
yeah.
has like the lowest shields of like all the units, so
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
it didn't really make
Mhm.
well, I guess technically the high temper has less, but
Yeah.
it
The
but
Provost
like
less. The
yeah
Sentry has less. Mm. But
yeah. So like like it was basically the main thing was like you want your Zealots to tank as much as you can do. That was like the most important thing.
mhm.
And like I kind of understand like right now like you're often like poking and stuff, and like yeah, yeah, it makes
Yeah.
sense to get like +1 shield instead of +3 armor.
Mhm. So, do you have any other like question marks with the batteries? Any
No,
situations where
I
you?
think the magical number like really like kind of like was like an moment for me. Like it makes a lot of sense that like you can get around it that way, kind of.
Yeah, you're gonna be really happy when you make a battery and your opponent doesn't understand the magic number and he just stands there shooting your unit and you know it's not gonna die.
Yeah,
And you're
yeah,
just
that's
getting
kind of what
all
I
that free juicy damage. It's gonna be great. Suddenly shield batteries are fun for you.
yeah.
Okay, so the last thing that I had written down is build orders. Do you we can
Yeah.
shortly go into maybe your replay or talk about
Yeah, okay, like the
how you.
replay is probably not the best for build order, but like I would really like for you to watch it after.
Okay.
Like I think it's it's just a very fun game. Um but yeah, like I can maybe I can maybe send you a different replay of like a Terran that
Mm-hmm.
for which I could actually do my build order. Let me find
Yeah.
it real
Yeah, we
quick.
can talk about a specific build order that you really want to try, or just
Yeah, okay, so
the way you
actually let's
think about build orders. We can talk about that.
yeah,
Anything
okay.
you prefer.
I'll show you like the Terran replay. Let me find it real quick.
Mm-hmm.
On Beckett Industries. I'm sure it's my yeah, definitely my only replay on that map. Okay.
Great map. I think haven't played on it yet.
It is? Okay, I don't know. Like it was pretty good. I
It's really
like I was
small.
able to play some StarCraft, so
Hell yeah.
pretty
Oh, I
good.
have one. Oh, I
Oh,
played
by
it.
the
I
way,
played first.
if you can make me like leader out
Yes.
this host, that's maybe
Yes.
easier than you have to download
Yes.
and stuff.
Oh, it just happened. Oh. Oh, okay.
I think you have to download it like that's kind of what
Yeah,
happens.
it's okay.
You have like yeah, I think it's fine. We're not gonna take commands.
Oh, custom replay inter. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't even know I had that enabled.
Yeah, you have like the OBS thing, right?
Mm. Okay, so tell me where to look, because I can't follow
Uh,
your camera.
okay, so just like if you're on my like. Okay, so first I forgot to build my extra probe. It's very good, very good. And I was rusty. Okay,
Yeah,
like
it's okay.
it's generally what I do. It's like I just build like a gate, and then I scout. Like before that I didn't scout, and I got like suddenly there were 10 marines in a tank. So I was like, all right, let's scout this game. And I kind of build like a gas at some point, and then I go to 21 and I expand, and then I start going gas and cyber, and then start probes again after that.
Right.
So yeah, and then like I build the depth, and you can see my insane adept micro coming up.
Oh, that's a
So-
good second gas. Nice. Yeah. Well, any opening you can just copy from the pros.
Yeah, kind of tried to copy this, but like it's been like I watched this build like maybe like 9 months ago or something, and like I'm kind of copying it off that memory, so it's probably not entirely accurate.
Right.
But I just go into robo and then observers, because I still think they are like very important against Terran. And like look at such great shading micro. Yeah, so like I just go robo and then observers, and like here I actually somewhere I think I scouted my probe here because oh no, I already scouted earlier. Wait, and
Boom,
then like
third base. Got him.
yeah, I saw his third. Like I saw him building.
Oh, he
his
built a
third,
third base. Yeah. Great.
and I
That's
was
good.
like,
6
okay,
scouting.
I'm just gonna build my third as well, and like I actually get like stupidly ahead on probes. Like I looked at it, I end up like 25 probes ahead or something, and then like
Protoss is actually so sick right now. Like they just make workers the quickest early. Like I think it takes Zerg
I'm
like
11 ahead already here.
yeah, just Chrono Boost, man. Chrono Boost is amazing. Like you should be a little ahead of Terran because of mules, but I think Zerg only overtakes Protoss like when third base happens. So that's why 2 base is kind of dead versus Protoss, because Protoss just has more workers.
Yeah, that
faster. And then it just doesn't make sense for Zerg. Like I think it's like around 50-ish workers we start to catch up to Protoss production with all our larva bullshit. But Protoss just keeps making them and keeps chrono boosting.
So yeah, like he's gonna drop some mines, and like from there, like I think at the point, like I lose so much probes, but it doesn't really matter. Like I'm 20 probes ahead right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think you have a very solid setup right now. Like I like how you didn't add the gates too early.
Like this is pretty bad.
Going to
Can you see my
Colossus?
pings? I don't know.
Oh no, I don't see them.
Like if you go to my natural, like it's about like a
oh, I see them in the sky. Action shot.
yeah, actually, I just don't see it at all. Like,
yeah,
so I
like
go
12
to
probes
side
there.
because like yeah, but I'm still ahead in probes. And, like there's like a liberator coming up, and like I completely mess up all my stuff, and it kind of becomes a game because of it.
I like how you went straight Colossus. No other tech, like no blink, no forge, nothing. Oh, the liberator, the fun unit.
Yeah, so I try to make my stalker go there, but he just doesn't. And like I'm like, come on, dude. Like get there.
Let's see. Okay, you lost 23 workers, and you're probably still ahead. Yeah, you're kind of even. You're kind of even right now, because he has a bunch of mules. Oh, he has never landed his third until now. That's really good for you.
Yeah, like I also like my observers don't die this entire game, which is why I win. So
that's very nice.
Like I'm able to like perfectly time count.
Double forge, bam.
Yeah, oh look at this beautiful double forge, and then like a bit later I'm like, didn't I build forges? I guess I didn't build forges.
2 more forges, bam! Oh, that's great.
Yes.
Now you can start +1 attack, armor, and shields, and you still have a backup.
Like I actually I start like them on the new ones.
Oh, there's another liberator.
That's the same liberator.
Oh, you take a nice fourth. The fourth is even a little late, but it doesn't really matter. Because you lost a lot of probes. Damn, you're losing a lot of probes this game.
I did not see this at all. Like I just like looked over and all my fucking pings are dead. I'm like, well, this is not good. This game's not going well. I thought I was doing really well.
No, this is a Fallows
So like
game.
I see his army like with my observer kind of.
Oh yeah, right.
And
Bunch of
I'm
tanks.
like, okay, you must have that third. So at this point, I'm just kind of like camping this bush, and I'm like thinking if he comes, I'll kind of ambush him from here,
Mm-hmm.
and then he's gonna move out to the north, and I'm just gonna use that to attack. And
Yeah,
force him back.
this is a nice observer. Like, anytime he does something, you can counter it.
No.
Now you're super behind though. Look at the probe count.
Yeah, incredibly behind. And like I forgot to also build probes for a long time.
You
so
look at
that's
the army supply as well.
Yeah.
He has such a
But, like
fatty
I pull
army.
him back here, like.
Oh,
because
this is a
my
good
counter
move
attack-
though. Playing
But, like-
StarCraft right now.
Yeah, yeah. Once I get to play StarCraft, I'm doing some things, you know, like
Yeah.
get the fuck out of there.
Oh, recall.
And,
Such a
like,
broken ability.
Deal with that counter attack. No, and
Yeah.
like I see him move out again, so I go again, but I'm a little bit later now, so he just
Yeah.
commits, and like he decides to like just stim a million times, and like I win in the end.
Yeah, yeah.
With, like,
You could have
2 plays
pulled.
straight.
Oh, you do. Nice. Probes are alive.
Yeah, I kind of pulled the wrong go, so that's like, but like he's just like overstimming, like.
Yeah.
Insane.
Holy shit.
So like I saw this, like I looked at this army at this point, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna win this. I'm just gonna kill his bases, like make sure like, and like he just went immediately into my main, and I have my fourth base, so I feel like very confident that I can hold. the
Yeah,
fourth.
you can always recall to that. Oh, you make some
Yeah,
cannons. Like this
It's
is good.
actually on cooldown right now, but yeah, I was
Right.
like,
Oh yeah, I see it. Yeah.
but,
that's-
like I'm fairly confident it will be off cooldown once he gets there.
Yeah,
Like,
you-
he's also very slow about getting there, so that helps.
So you're reading the game correctly, but the game is kind of a dumpster fire.
Yeah, so like he's about to go, like I see him coming, and I just like recall, set up the recall. There we go, and then like,
Oh, the cannon's doing work, dude.
like normal, and then like I just target fire as well. So
With the Colossus?
yeah.
Oh, oh my
And, like, I didn't
god,
even
dude.
notice, like the Nexus goes to literally 15 HP. I didn't notice that during the game.
Oh, did he click on it? Oh,
I
that's
think so.
kind of
So,
bad. Maybe he thought it was you didn't have any money, but
No.
he
Well,
didn't
like-
have any air units. Guess it was a mistake by him. But it's a good play to target the Nexus, right? If you don't get off the recall, suddenly it's a good play.
Yeah, for sure.
Wow, and your main still isn't mined out.
Yeah, man.
But your natural probably is. That's okay. His natural already kind of mined out because of the mules.
No.
That's kind of a big difference in Legacy. Like, bases just deplete so fast. Wow.
Wow.
Nice.
So like, so when it comes to the build order, this is kind of like what I try to do against Terran, and against Protoss, I go like double gate, and then like 2 stalkers, and then 2 more stalkers, and then like tech, and then 2 more stalkers, and then I expand. That's basically what I do against Protoss. I feel somewhat confident with those builds. Against Zerg, I kind of have like very little idea of what I'm doing.
Mhm.
So that's
Yeah.
probably the one I understand the least. Like when I watched some Hearthstone videos recently,
Mhm.
he was
Good
doing
content.
like a crazy like 1 gate expand versus Protoss, which I was like mind blown. Like
Yeah.
he would do 1 gate on the low ground and then just Nexus. And I was like I was just like, how do you ever live against anything?
Yeah, you gotta be
But,
real crisp.
apparently you do. So
Yeah, I think you should probably just take what I kind of do with chess. I just have an opener or a couple
for
openers,
sure.
and I just want to have fun, and I just kind of
Yeah.
use the opener to get into the mid game, and then I just kind of do whatever.
Yeah, that's actually also how I play chess, so
Yeah.
that makes sense.
But I'm god awful at chess. Oh my god.
I'm okay-ish at chess.
Damn, what does okayish mean?
1700 on Lee chess.
Okay, that's sick.
I used to play in a club. When
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
I was.
I
like, from
wish
8
I
to
I
16.
played checkers in the club.
Okay. If you
And
want to learn chess, there's actually like a very good Dutch lesson method,
oh
like
really?
called the Stappen method.
Oh
You
yeah,
just like
I know about it, but
buy the things. They're very cheap as well. But
oh,
like I don't
that's
know.
nice. Yeah, no, I just asked a friend of mine. I think he's like rated 2000 ish. Maybe a little lower than I don't know. He's not a FIDE master yet, but like maybe a
Right
year or
on.
two, and then he will be.
Pretty impressive.
And I just asked him like, what should I play?
Yeah.
Because I was just kind of like I was only doing puzzles, and that was fun, but it made me really not want to play people. And then I was like, okay, just give me an opening. And then I just got super addicted to playing people because it's just more fun.
Yeah, it is. It is very fun.
And now I just play like the Ponziani when I'm white.
Okay. Yeah.
I play like King's Indian,
How,
I think, when I'm
how does
black.
that go? Like Ponziani? I don't know.
It's E3 on your third move.
E3? Oh,
C3,
so
C3, C3.
so it's E4, knight
E4,
f3.
knight F3, and then C3.
Okay. Yeah. Okay,
And
that
then
makes
you
sense.
go for a D4 push.
I
And
think
then
I
I know
I did
like
something
all
similar.
the variations basically, and I know a couple of the traps, so
No.
it kind of gets me in a playable, good position usually.
So what do you do
Especially
if they play Sicilian? You also just go for it, or?
no, when they play Sicilian, I just play open Sicilian versus that, and I go for the Sozin.
Okay.
I
I
I
actually
don't
like to do
I don't
C3
know
versus Sicilian.
anything against the Sicilian. Like usually
Yeah.
when I played first it, I would just kind of like be mad and just kind of like
Yeah, same, dude. I actually like, dude. I'm feeling so relatable right now. Like I, I remember because like I played on the club, but
mhm
and I was like the best of the youth players and stuff, but
mhm
it didn't mean much. And then like in a while, like in 2013 with the championship, it was
yeah
like a Twitch channel, and it got me back into chess. And I remember like on the club, everybody played E4, E5. You know, it was just
yeah
always, and like all of a sudden, people were playing D4 and they were playing the Sicilian, and I was like, I don't fucking know what to do. And I
yeah.
actually got so salty against Sicilian that I started playing D4 myself. And I actually just didn't want to deal with it. And at
Nice.
some point, I just said, okay, I'm just gonna do the same thing against the Sicilian. I'm just gonna do this thing. I don't know if it's good. It probably isn't.
Yeah.
But I'm just gonna know better what I want than you.
Yeah,
So
that's basically my position. At first, versus the Sicilian, I would just do stupid stuff because I didn't understand it, and now I just kind of do the one thing that's good against the dragon variation, like the accelerated dragon,
no,
and then I just do it versus every variation. And when they play the Najdorf, I'm like, you probably don't know how to play this either, so
probably true.
yeah. And when they open like what is it C6 versus my E4, and then I'm like, always like, okay, I can pre-move the next 3 moves because I know I need to push this pawn, then I take with my knight, and then we'll see. I always just kind of roll my eyes and I'm like, it's a Sicilian game, I don't care anymore, I don't know anything.
Yeah, makes sense.
Oh, and I
All
love it
right.
when people fried liver me.
Yeah,
Because
once again, I don't really know what those things are.
yeah, it's like when they play the Italian game, I think it's like you
Yeah, I know
E5.
Italian.
Yeah, it's E5, E4, E5, and then knight F3, knight C6, and then
Bishop C4.
yeah, they bishop C4, and I play my knight, which is knight C3, and then they can do knight G4, I think,
Oh,
or
that
what is
one.
it? Yeah,
Yeah,
it's just a
knight
noob
G4,
killer kind of, and
E5.
then I play the Traxler counterattack, which it's just very fun.
It's
So you
that's D4, right? Probably, or
no, it's bishop. Where does it go? I'm not very good with the squares. I think it's bishop.
I'm just
It's
gonna put
underneath
on.
his bishop.
I'm gonna put on a board.
C5? Or no, no. Where does the bishop go?
Let me see. Let me see. Okay,
It's
I'll share my screen.
F4, I think. I think it's F4.
So analysis. Alright, let's take a look because now I'm curious. Okay, so it's E4, knight F3, E4, F5, knight F3.
Yeah.
So this probably right?
I don't. Where?
Oh, sorry. Did you?
I
Can you
can't
see or
follow.
not?
Oh, I can see it now. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so like, so it's this, And you go knight c6, right, or not? Or do you go
Yeah, knight c6.
knight c6 here, and then you go
Yes.
here?
Yes. So
And
you
then
invite
here?
it, and then he goes there, and then I put my bishop on c5. Yeah.
Mm,
And then they can take with knight, or with bishop. So with bishop is a little
yeah.
better, but they usually take with knight. And then I take with bishop on f2. Yeah.
Really.
And then they
But
have...
like,
This
I
is
always
this is the
do
most annoying. I hate
yeah.
this, because this is the best move, but if they take,
Yeah,
it's...
then you have this check and
No,
here,
you
right?
take the pawn,
Oh
actually.
yeah, go here and here. Then
What
I
the
can
hell
like
is this?
better.
Yeah, so you take, and then you have the queen to h4, and then like all hell breaks loose for white.
Yeah.
But if they do this, then you can just let me remember what you do. I don't remember. I think you...
You gotta save your queen, right? You got
Yeah,
to.
you play
You got to
queen.
play
Yeah. That's
queen
exactly what you
e7.
do, and then they either take your rook usually, or they...
Probably.
And then now you have to play bishop b6. It's the best move according to the engine, but
So b6, really?
yeah. And then you can start opening up lines and stuff, but it's kind of like the knight is trapped, so you don't really have to care about his knight.
Like, don't you just want to go here anyway? Like, oh.
Yeah, but I kind of run into trouble when I play this. I think his queen comes out, and then the
It
game
makes
just...
sense that he like this, and you have to run, and then you can. And
Yeah, or his
like,
queen goes to
open.
h5, and like everything just kind of... Yeah, and the bishop... It just turns really ugly really fast. I
Chess
used to
changes.
know the line, but so
Yeah.
I nowadays I still play it. I just hope they take the bishop, because I still know all the lines when they take the bishop,
Yeah.
and it's usually like very advantageous for black. Sometimes you just kind of die, but there's a lot of lines where you have to play the d5, I think, to open up your own bishop, and this is just kind of fun. So when I'm black, I always hope they play this. I'm always like,
Okay,
please,
fair enough.
please go for the noob killer.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Alright.
Okay.
Enough chess. Back to StarCraft.
Also talked some chess. Amazing. So yeah, do you have anything to wrap up, or do you feel like we talked about everything?
Yeah, I think we talked about most things. I just
Yeah.
really would like you to watch that auto replay just for the fun of it. But like
Yeah.
once again, this is not an educational content. It's just like
Okay. Give me
this
one
is just-
second.
Yeah,
Then
sure.
I'll wrap up the stream for a bit. I just yeah. So
Okay.
we end the coaching session here.
Yeah.
Let me wrap up. We looked at a little bit at the depths, how they're kind of a Reaper-like unit. They are good early mid game, but not really a late game unit. We looked at the economy, like how the minerals are different. You take an earlier third base. Chrono Boost is awesome, and you definitely, yeah, 2 base builds are kind of dead. It's kind of I think what we ended up at, and then
Yeah.
batteries, where the magic number really,
Yeah, the magic number was the big thing.
the magic number was the big thing there. So yeah, thank you for your time. I hope you learned something.
Yeah,
Then,
for sure, man. I look forward to it.